Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Birch and Lily, where I talk about all of the crafty goodness that I have been working on over the past while. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me, and if this is the second, third, fourth time that you've joined me, thank you as well. It means a lot to me. Obviously, I had promised to upload videos over December, and that did not happen. But I don't want to apologize for it because the reasoning is I spent lots of time with my family and that is the most important thing to me. So that is where I was. Quick and easy answer to that. But I have quite a few things to show you. So before we jump on in, there are two places that you can find me on the internet. The first is on Instagram at birch.and.lily and the second is on Ravelry at birchandlily. Today is January 11th, and let's jump on in to some finished objects. Obviously, what I am wearing here you have never seen before. This is the Luminaria Shawl. It is a pattern by Larkspur Knits, also known as Lindsey Fowler, and I cast this on using all of my Advent minis. Well, not all. I think I used about half of them, but my Advent minis from 2020. It's really weird that it's 2021. I might have said 2021 earlier, now that I'm thinking about it. Whatever. Anyways, 2020 Advent Skeins, and then I did show you, I think in 2 videos ago, I had shown you the main color that I had wanted to use for this, or I was considering using for this project, so that is what I did end up using. So I guess I might as well stand up and show the whole thing to you guys. Never enough room, I swear. So you obviously will not be able, I guess I can do this. Here it is. Is this not the most beautiful thing you have ever seen? I swear I want to knit like 50 of this pattern. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I guess maybe I'll show it and then I'll sit down and you can just see snippets of it while I talk about it, but this is just, it blocked beautifully and I am so very happy. So let us jump into details. Like I said, I used the Woolberry Fiber Co. Classic Advent for all of the different colors, and then the main color, which you can kind of see here right above this teal color. So this right here, that's the main color I used. That is from Autumn and Indigo yarn. It is a one-of-a-kind colorway, so you can't get it anymore, unfortunately, but it is on a 75-25 base, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and the minis are 80-20. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So I knit this up on the called for needle size, which is a US 6, a 4mm needle. My gauge was close enough and I didn't really care that much because it's a shawl. And yeah, I originally had wanted to try and use every single mini that I got in my Advent. There were 20, I think, in this Advent, and then there were some other things that made up the rest of it. But I almost ran out of the main color, so while I tried to add them in, it didn't happen, and that's kind of also why I want to make another one, just to use up the rest of the minis, but I probably won't. I don't know. Not that I love this pattern and I want to make another one, but do I need another one? Not really. That's kind of my thinking. So yeah, I love this. It's mosaic knitting, so there is literally no color work in here whatsoever. It flew like crazy off of my needles. I got it done in probably a week and a half. Absolutely so fun and easy to memorize the repeats. I had to look at them every row, obviously, but I didn't have to keep checking back to figure out what I had to do. So after I looked at the row, it was easy going. There is an I-cord border across the top, and it is bound off with, I don't know if you can see them, there we go, with little picots in a different color, which I wanted to use something quite contrasting just because there isn't a ton of dark in here, so I ended up using actually this mini right here to tie in on the edge. And this shape here is all from blocking. Blocking is amazing. It really opened up all of these little eyelets, and you just pull down on the point and pin it in place, and it looks beautiful. So yeah, I really don't know what else to say about this. I don't want to give too much away, but I absolutely love it. It's beautiful, and I'm excited to be able to wear it now. If I could go places, I would wear it. But really fun Christmas project, really wonderful way to use up my minis, because let's be honest, we never know what to do with minis. So yeah, this is my Luminaria shawl. Actually, I'll put it across the back of my chair so we can kind of still see it. So I do have some more finished objects. I was pretty monogamous with my knitting while I was home. I tried to stick with simple things because I was talking to people a lot while I was working on stuff. So I have a lot of vanilla socks to show you guys. So the first thing that I did finish was my pair of the Cozy Knitter Advent socks. This yarn is a skein that the dyer of the Cozy Knitter makes every, well, she's done it for the past 3 years, and what it basically is a 24 stripe self-striping yarn, and you're supposed to knit a stripe every day all the way up to Christmas so that you have a pair of socks for Christmas Day. I did end up knitting mine just a little bit faster than that because I was enjoying it and I wanted them done, is basically why. That's the only reason, but I do have them finished. I realize now I did not weave in the ends, so I obviously wore them on Christmas with ends and didn't notice. But I am excited to have them done and into my collection. I have knit all 3 years of her Advent skein, and I would definitely like to keep the tradition up. So here they are. I definitely have more than the 24 stripes in here because, yeah, you can see I haven't woven the ends because there's still a hole there I haven't fixed. But I did knit up more than that because I knit my socks mostly cuff down, and it's hard for me to guess how much yarn I'll need for the foot and where I should stop in the leg when I'm trying to figure out exactly how many stripes I want. So, and I really didn't want to do math. So I just kept knitting, and let's see, where does, oh, right there is the start of the second repeat, so there really isn't that much extra in there, but absolutely love these. I knit them on 2.25mm needles, a US 1. I did a German twisted cast on, 2x2 rib, knit plain knitting stockinette all the way down, finished pretty much the whole foot. And then I tried them on to figure out where I wanted to put the heel in, marked that, and then finished the toe. And this is an afterthought heel. I use the Kirby Werby tutorial on YouTube. It is wonderful. It makes a perfect afterthought heel. And yeah, wedge toe, did I say that? But these are done, and they're cozy and wonderful. I cast on 60 stitches for these. I find with stockinette socks for myself that 60 stitches are the best, and I also find with the Cozy Knitter yarn, it's a little bit plumper of a base than a lot of the other fingering yarns that I use, so 60 stitches is perfect. I guess I didn't say, usually I alternate between knitting and cross-stitch videos. This episode I'm going to mix both together just to get us all caught up, and then I will start doing the usual knitting cross-stitch alternating. I just wanted to kind of show everything that I've worked on because I wouldn't have a long enough video if I had done them separate, so that's what's happening today. Then next week we will be back to normal. So the other finished object that I have is another pair of stockinette socks. These are knit out of Tiny Human Knits yarn in the colorway 31, and this mini skein I believe is dyed from Tiny Human Knits as well, but it did not come with this set. It was just conveniently matched to everything else, so that was lucky. What did I do for these? I cast on with a German twisted cast on. That is my go-to for sock knitting. I find it is nice and stretchy, and makes the perfect cuff for a top-down sock. I did cast on 60 stitches for these as well, and did a 2x2 rib, kept knitting, and I did a heel flap and gusset for this pair. I prefer the fit of a heel flap and gusset on my foot. I didn't do it for the other socks just because I wasn't 100% sure, like I said, where to stop with the stripes, so it was easier just to do an afterthought heel. But usually my go-to is a heel flap and gusset. So I did that, and just a wedge toe. Very simple again, but this year is going to be the year of me wearing hand knit socks. I'm going to try and trust my dog not to eat them. So this will definitely be one of the pairs that I try to start wearing. I think I'm going to go with self-striping ones first because they were just a little bit easier to knit, and I feel like less effort went into them than like some of my fancier patterned ones, so if she was to chew it and make a hole, I wouldn't be as devastated. So that is that pair of socks. I totally feel out of practice doing this with like a month since the last video I recorded. I don't know if I said the needle size. All of my socks are knit on 2.25mm needles, always the same. So if I forget to say, that is what they are knit on. So that is all that I have for finished objects this episode. That is a lot, not normal, but when it's been like a month in between, I guess you get a lot done. But I do have quite a few works in progress to show you guys. A couple cross stitch things, couple knitting. Let's jump on in. Okay, so cross stitch project here. This one is almost done. I almost finished it. This is the project that I am working on with my mom. I will pop a picture here. We were finally able to see them beside each other. It was awesome to be able to work on it with her because we both started them completely apart at the beginning of the year. So this is A Shepherd's Song by Plum Street Samplers. It is in a Pretty Southern bag. Perfect. It's got sheep and they're knitting. Not knitting in here, but anyways. So I am stitching this up with all of the called for threads on 40 count Winter Brew is what I'm using. So I'm missing a couple threads because I left them for my mom just in case she was about to run out. So I am missing a couple, but I didn't need them anymore for my project, so I figured I would leave them for her. But this still gives you a decent idea of what is going on this project. I am shocked how not knotted they are. And like I said, I am almost done. I have like the tiniest amount of things left to do. Here we go. So I've done so much on this. I will zoom in on some stuff for you guys. So I did do the 1/1 here. Just saying that I stitched the project. I finished this tree, the lady, all sorts of stuff. So really all I have to do, this motif here needs to be filled in, which is what I was doing last time I touched this, obviously. And then I have a bunch of these little squares to put around that whole area there. So I could totally have this done by next time if I worked hard. We'll see if I do. I don't know. I haven't been feeling like crafting. I've been pretty tired and exhausted from Christmas and traveling and all of that stuff, so I haven't been working on a lot of stuff, but I really should get this finished because it's absolutely gorgeous and I want it hanging in my house for sure. So, loving this. Loved working on it with my mom. Like, that was the best part of the whole thing, honestly, because my mom and I love to cross stitch, and to finally be able to just sit down and do it with her after a year was insane. So love, 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 love. Definitely can have it done by the next episode. And yeah. So the one pattern sock that I did work on over Christmas break was the Craspedia Socks, a pattern by Andrea Mowry. I have them in this cute little Christmassy bag. This is from the Birch Grove. And I am knitting these socks on 2.25mm needles, a US one, and I am using this yarn here from Hey Sister Yarn Co. Almost said Tiny Human Knits. They are not dyeing yarn anymore, unfortunately. I don't know if you could find this colorway on Ravelry or something, but this is called Tea and Cake, and then I am just using a random mini with them as well. So, definitely need a blocker for these socks because I've got quite a bit done. And you can tell I haven't touched these since I got home because they still have a Christmas progress keeper on them, but honestly, that's okay. So, like I said, these are the Craspedia Socks, and I've turned the heel. So these are toe-up socks. I don't do toe-up socks very often, so I definitely had to rip back a couple times to make them properly fit because I don't follow instructions very well, apparently. I use it, I think the Turkish cast on is what it is for the toe. I much prefer it to Judy's Magic cast on. It just gives a much nicer, rounder looking toe. And then I've been knitting the pattern, turn the heel. I don't know why these don't fit super great on the blocker because they fit my foot fine. But yeah, heel turn, and now I'm just working up the leg. Give you a peek at the front of them. They are beautiful. There's bobbles in the middle here and lots of intricate cabling. There's my progress keeper, little gingerbread house. So that is where I was the last time I showed these socks to you guys. And I've got a lot done. And my yarn is tangled, as always. But definitely making progress on these. They were fun for the days where I just wanted to sit with some headphones in and forget there was people around. So, love these, got lots done. We'll continue to work on them soonish. We'll see. Like I said, I'm totally out of it. I didn't even mention the size of these. I did cast on, there's 2 sizes, I think, available in the pattern. This pattern is in the 52 Weeks of Socks book from Lina Magazine, and I cast on the smaller size, which is 52 stitches. And it fits just fine, surprisingly, for a heavily cabled sock. I think because the back of it is all stockinette, that's what really helps. Don't be scared to go with the smaller size if you usually do a 64 stitch sock for a pattern sock. You should be fine. So I did work on one other cross stitch project. This is a Saviour's Praise. It is a pattern from Shakespeare's Peddler. Again, in a pretty southern bag. So I am using called for threads and fabric for this pattern. The pattern calls for some weeks dye works and then mostly anchor threads. And the fabric itself is 40 count Beach Brew. So here are our colors. Lots of pretty neutrals with some pops of red and blue, lots of green. Absolutely beautiful. I've done a decent amount on this. I really don't remember how much I had done last time though. It's been too long. But this is where I am. So I think I filled in quite a bit of the words down there compared to before. And then I've worked a lot on just borders. It's kind of my no thinking cross stitch project. So yeah, I just did a lot of borders. Oh, you guys have seen that side lots. So yeah, I'm working way on this side. I took this very top border under Love here all the way across and down. Finished this, the one under it as well. Oh, I finished quite a bit of these letters. Yeah, so I've got quite a bit done. But this is a beautiful project. It's definitely going to be a long-term labor of love. So I'm enjoying it now, and I will work on it until I feel bored again. It's basically the story of my life. So other than that, I am working on 2 pairs of self-striping socks, just some plain stockinette, no thinky projects this time around. Definitely just switch out this project bag because it's not Christmas anymore, but will I? Probably not. This bag is from Tiny Human Knits, and the yarn that I'm using is from Knitterly Things. This is their Lightning in a Bottle colorway. These socks I cast on like a year ago. But I'm glad that I've been working on them because do I have one done? Yes, I have one done. And I am about, I don't know what I'm doing, honestly. I'm almost to the heel turn. Heel turn on the second one. Yeah. Anyways, put them on a blocker. So that little sheep is where I was the last time you would have seen these. So I was just about to put the heel in. Like I said, this striping yarn is from Knitterly Things. This contrasting mini that I'm using is from, I think, 2018's Woolberry Fiber Co. Advent. Yeah, I think it was 2018. So that is the first sock. If you're curious what these Progress Keepers are, I do put them every 10th row so that I don't have to count. I just know, okay, 10, 20, 30, 40. So then I can do that exactly on the other sock and they match perfectly. So, might as well go over what I did for these before I show you the second one. I cast on 60 stitches for these socks with a German twisted cast on 2.25mm needles. Knit that till I got bored. Heel flap and gusset and wedge toe. So like I said, I have started the second sock and I am just working away on it. This is good movie knitting. Not that theaters are really open, but it's good movie knitting. So that is where I am on the second sock. I do knit all of my socks magic loop. That is my preference. I can't stand DPNs, so magic loop it is. And I'm just gonna keep working on that. Yeah. And like I said, I do have one other pair of self-striping socks. This bag is from the Scrappy Thread. And these socks I am knitting for my sister. I did tell her if she picked out a skein of yarn, I would knit her a pair of socks out of it. And if I have extra, I'll make her a hat or something as well. So this yarn is from a local yarn store back where my family is. Definitely, oh, you can't really read that because of my lights. It is more of like a, what would be the opposite of indie dyed? Mainstream? I don't know. But it is called Nako Boho and it is a self-striping yarn. So she purchased that and I'm knitting her many things out of it. So for these socks, she has larger feet than I do. So I did cast on 64 stitches for these socks and I'm just knitting away. I did a 2x2 rib, 2.25mm needles, nothing crazy. It's fun to see how the stripes are coming up and just all the different colors because it's really hard to tell what's going on in this setup of yarn. So it's been fun seeing how they turn out. So I'd like to get these done before the next time I see her in May. So I'll definitely be working on these, probably more than the ones for myself, just so that they're ready in time. They shouldn't take me that long if I work on them every couple days. So beautiful socks. Of course they're beautiful, I knit them. Beautiful yarn though too. I'm pretty happy with it. It is a little bit scratchy, but it definitely, I can tell it'll go away once I block them. So I'm not too worried about that at all. And I will most likely do a heel flap and gusset on those socks as well. I had never done one for her before, I don't think, but I knit her a pair of socks for Christmas with it and they fit really, really well. So that is my plan for those. And that yarn, it doesn't have a colorway name, but I do have the number written down here. It is 81980. Can't read my own writing. So if you are interested in that, I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Commercial yarn. That's the word I was looking for. Anyways, that is all I have worked on over the past 3 weeks. I feel like I should have done more, but I'm happy with what I got done too, so that's all that matters, right? If you have not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. It helps me out a lot, gets my video out to other people, and makes me happy. If you haven't clicked the little bell down below and you miss my video uploads, that might be something that you want to do. It does give you notifications every time I upload a new video. I upload on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and next week I think I will do a knitting video just to get back on the normal schedule of alternating, because I do alternate between knitting and cross stitch videos every week. So next week look for a knitting one, and then we'll be back on the normal schedule. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them down below, or you can send me an email as well. Those are my preferred methods of communication. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sticking around after my 3-week disappearance. I appreciate it a lot, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!